We just talking. And we are live. Welcome to the Intellectual Stock Corner. I am Angie Card, and today we are exploring alpha and beta female traits and how they impact individuals both in and out of the workplace. To help me with this discussion, I have my friend Brittany, who happens to be a culture consultant. So I felt like she would be very appropriate to kind of help me out developing this conversation. What's up, Brittany?
Hi, everybody.
So you and I, we've been kind of passionate about this topic. We've been talking about it for about a month now, and kind of just thinking about how we wanted to go about this show. And every show that I do is really organic discussion. I want you guys to just feel like you are watching me and Brittany talk about a topic. So that's how we're going to play this. Wherever you are live streaming this, you can definitely leave a comment and we will definitely be able to read it and engage with you as we go along with the discussion. Some of the takeaways from this discussion that I would like for you all to sort of consider. And one thing is, this is not a conversation just for females. This is a conversation for anyone who is dealing with an individual who may have the alpha or beta personality trait. And just understanding how those individuals respond to things and how they impact you, your livelihood, and even other people around you. So one thing is being aware of which one that you are will help you out with this discussion. And then also understanding, we want you to understand how these traits impact other females around you. So not only knowing which your trait is, but understanding how it impacts other females or people around you. And then also at the end of the day, how our understanding of our particular trait will ultimately help us to understand and interact with other people. So Brittany, which one are you? Are you an alpha or a beta, and why?
Definitely am an alpha. And why? Because frankly, I don't take shit from anybody. And that's one of the biggest things I think the alphas that differentiates betas from alphas is like how much we're willing to deal with certain things. We're really good at setting boundaries. It's more so at work. I can't say it's always, because at home you can kind of shut off as a female. We kind of talked about that offline before. But at work, I am straight up alpha, full through and through. And yeah, so not taking crap and just being very assertive. Like if I want something, I'm going to get it and you're going to know about it. And if I don't like how you're talking to me, I'm going to tell you. So that's,
I echo that. That's why I say you're my fellow alpha, because I'm definitely an alpha female. I go hard. I try to, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to be the best at it. And that's just the bottom line. I don't care if I'm driving a bus or a taxi or whatever I do, I am going to be the best at it. You know what I mean? And I'm going to try to be the bestest at it, like ever, if I can. I'm one of those people. I'm very kind to other people in the workplace, but I don't go to work to make friends. So right. So I don't go to work to make friends, but I feel like friendships and relationships in the workplace is more organic. So I'm not going there trying to be everybody's friend. And I think, as an alpha, that's pretty much true of most of us. Whereas more betas are looking for social interaction and they're looking for maybe somebody to, connect with and bond with while they're at the workplace. And we'll get into more of their characteristics. So that's me. I'm definitely an alpha. I take charge. I feel like I'm more of a silent leader, because it's like if I see something is not going right, it doesn't make any sense, and there's something more effective way to do something, I'm in there. You know what I mean? When it, we'll talk about this later too, but even when it comes to relationships, it's like I understand. I'm very like, I'm not that. I'm emotionally rational when it comes to relationships in all forms, friendships, relationships, doesn't matter. I think I'm very, very emotionally rational. So that's why I feel like I am an alpha. But this conversation is important because as we have so many discussions about women and what they're like, I think it's important to understand the alpha and beta personalities more clearly, and which type that you're dealing with, because women are so unique. And to be honest with you, alpha and beta is not even all of the personality types. You have sigma, you have omega, but just to narrow it down to like the two main types, alpha and beta, let's go into the alpha female first, right? So some of the characteristics of the alpha female, and I just pulled this online. It just seemed like there's reoccurring information about these traits almost everywhere, so you can go online. And so the alpha female, they define them as a superstar to other females. They're very competitive. They're negotiators. They're free spirits. They're independent. They're self-reliant, self-assured. They're not a clinger. So if they're in a relationship with somebody, don't expect for somebody to just be hanging all over you, because that's not the trait of the alpha. Let's see. They're great at everything. They're very self-aware. They value leadership roles. And they also said that they are they're highly emotionally intelligent, and they're very much individualistic. Okay. And basically us two alphas have definitely echoed those things. So when I think about alpha females that I've worked with in the workplace, I can honestly say that I've actually respected them more.
Like in terms of like you automatically, or
like automatically, like there's something about their charisma, their personality. I'm automatically attracted to them. I want to work with them. I'm not intimidated by them. It's like, that's the person that I want to emulate and be like, is that alpha female. And when I see one in the workplace, I'm always looking at that woman, watching what she's doing, seeing how she's doing things. And I'm like, you're my role model, whether you know it or not.
Yeah. And I think the caveat to that is that if I see someone who everyone thinks is an alpha, but I know they're not, and we'll touch on this later, the fake alpha thing.
That's your word.
Right. That's my word. The fake alpha is when everyone else, all the betas think that this person's an alpha. And as an alpha, I'm sitting there like, that person is not. And that's because, like you said, I am attracted to other alpha females. Like one of my Air Force mom, she was super alpha, and I was like, I love you, like automatically, and she was just amazing. But when I sense a female that pretends to be an alpha, I can smell it immediately.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like the little dog with the big bark, and you don't really, and that that's just a little a big bark. But she's little, and she has a little personality, and she knows it, and so she's trying to make herself bigger by being either the loudest person or the rudest person. And that's where I find a lot of beta females in the workplace. They tend to be so rude. Like they either, like, that's a negative aspect, and we'll get into the positive, but that as an alpha, I found that like beta females tend to be quite rude. The fake alphas who are actually betas, they're like the rudest and the loudest people in the workplace.
Well, yeah, that's so true, because you're saying that the person I'm thinking of that's a fake alpha, that's exactly the case. Super rude, talks to people on the side of her neck, just hella rude, and I'm like, that is not what an alpha does. So
no, because we don't need to be rude. We're very confident in ourselves. Alpha females do not have to be rude or nasty to other females. And like I said, that's like probably the extreme negative side of an alpha, where she would be a mean girl and just don't be totally disregarding. But we don't go out of our way to be that way to people. Whereas I find beta females, they don't know how to express their intimidation about you.
So then
they don't even want to acknowledge the fact that it is that intimidation about you. So, they'll just be mean and they'll be catty. Right. But with the alpha female, though, I do find that according to this article, And you and I were talking about this, and I just want to read it because she literally started this article off. Melissa Wyatt, she writes for the Prompt, or she blogged for the Prompt, and she wrote this in March 15, 2018. And she says, lurking in every office, there's at least one of these creatures. Her bright wardrobe taunts you like a goddamn bird of paradise. You hear her heels clicking from a mile down the hallway, and even if she's out of range, you can simply feel her presence, radiating energy everywhere in the distance. She's the big wig, the hotshot, the crowd pleaser, the bitch. She draws attention wherever she goes. She's viewed as an equal to most of the men in the office. She always managed to look put together, even if she's on the verge of a mental breakdown. She is always prepared, she's always prepared, almost to the point of making everyone else look insufficient. She doesn't accept mediocre performance from anyone, especially herself. So this is the alpha female. She's talking about the alpha female in here, that confidence, that you can't tell me nothing about myself that I do not already know. And if you're trying to tell me something about myself, you're probably exaggerating me, right? That is a real alpha. But notice how she started it. It was like, why is the presence of an energy, a confident woman, and confidence is one of those traits of the alpha female. Why is that energy so negative for some people?
And it's negative for them because of, like you said, their own insecurities. Like if they were secure within themselves, they would be attracted to that. But they're not.
They want to learn from that.
Right. Yeah. And emulate it in some way. But instead, they're too busy being jealous to want to, they're not even being self-aware that they're being jealous, that they're coming off, with a bad taste in their mouth.
And you said the key word, self-awareness. And I'm big on self-awareness, and I think, again, being aware of your personality trait, it goes a long way in helping you be able to deal with other people, right? So if you're a beta female and, if you have feelings like that about another woman that's described in that article, right? You need to be self-aware of where those feelings are coming from, right? Mm-hmm. You need to know that perhaps your personality trait is leading you to feel unreasonably about somebody that you may not even know, right? So on the flip side of the alpha female, right, we got the beta female, right? And the beta female is interesting because a lot of the characteristics of the alpha female, it really sort of falls into the beta female, but there's just a little bit more reserve to this woman, right? Mm-hmm. She's an introvert, right? She loves being at home. She enjoys being around the company of people that she knows. She doesn't like big crowds. She's a problem solver. She's an intellectual. She can be emotional, right? She's very kind-hearted. She's very pure. She's very empathetic, right? She needs gentle treatment, right? So it's almost dealing with like somebody, like almost like a child. Not quite a child, but like when you talk about these emotions of the beta personality, this person needs to be alone and or coddled. So how does those characteristics go into the workplace?
I feel like, give them a positive. Surprisingly, I do think that they can sometimes be even better leaders than alphas. And the reason I say that is because they're more people oriented, whereas alphas are we're more driven for our own goals, right? That's not necessarily saying we're going to crap on everyone on the way down, but betas are, like I said, they're more social. They're more about leaning on each other at work, whereas alphas are more like we have a goal, which is why I think all of the clients I have, they're alphas as CEOs. And I've realized that. And then they might have, the tier underneath them, VPs or COOs or whatever, they're betas. And it's not that they're not they don't have good quality traits that can lead. It's just that they do it differently. And so betas can have good leadership skills and sometimes be even better, because alphas have to be who we are to as like a CEO or someone entrepreneur or whatever, because we have to have a certain mindset that betas don't have. And we're very goal oriented, whereas I think betas are more so it's like a feeling situation where the betas are more of a feeler, whereas alphas are more thinkers. And that's like, if you ever heard of the MBTI personality type traits, my boy Joy Rigo is a guru in that. And we actually talked about this right offline, because I was like, hey, we're about to talk about this. And it's not so much introvert extrovert that differentiates beta and alpha. It's more the thinker feeler situation, because I'm actually an introvert. And
thinker feeler, and that's interesting.
So it's like the whole thinker feeler thing. Like I said, we're more we're emotionally intelligent in a different way than the beta is. And I think that's just something we can rap about, because that's still a new thought to me too. But feeler, like, we don't have the feelings that betas do, which.
It's interesting, because I can actually get with that. I can get with that because I've seen females crying in the workplace, and that was almost bizarre for me, because I would never be crying up in the workplace, right?
What are you doing?
Right? Like, and then if I would cry in the workplace, like, you're not going to, you know what I mean? You're not going to ever see it.
Right.
Like that. You're not going to see me crying up in the job, because it's weak to me.
Oh, absolutely. And if I magically cry, it's only because if that was to happen, it's like, I'm trying not to murder you. So it's not crying because it's bad.
But the thing is, like, for me though, it's like when I see somebody crying in the workplace, I'm like, oh, I'm concerning to a point. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, okay, what are you crying about? Oh, I'm sorry that happened to you, but at the end of the day, it's still beyond my control. So I think maybe alpha females are more stoic, and that it's like, okay, sorry about this, let me try to help you as much as I can, but then it's like, okay, hold on,
right.
Whereas beta females will sit there and coddle you. They will inherit your problems. They will take on the world. They will abandon their entire self just to, hold on to your problems. And, and I think even like guys, when they're thinking about what am I dealing with? Do I have an alpha female or do I have a beta female? And it's like, well, it just depends, right? If you make her upset, is your woman going and crying, or is she cussing you out?
Yeah, right, for sure.
Right? And some guys, they, what I mean, they don't know what they're dealing with, but it's like, wow, she's emotionally clingy, she can't seem to be functional without me. It's like, well, you have a beta female, bro, and you may be an alpha male who may be more sufficient in yourself, where you don't have to be so attached to your woman like that. So same way in the workplace with a boss, in my opinion, it's like you may have two females, right? One of them may be an alpha, one of them may be a beta. You can't talk to these females the same way. You can't, because one of them might be way more emotional than the other one. You could say the same criticism to the same, two different women, alpha and beta. The alpha female may walk away with that criticism like, crap, I need to continuously improve. I need to do something. I need to change the game, blah, blah. The beta female might walk out of that criticism devastated and attacked. You know what I mean?
More and like action oriented, like we as alphas, we like you said, we got to go fix that. Whereas a beta might just wallow in their self-pity emotionally, I think.
Oh yeah, and I've had that happen too, where it's like where I've had coworkers who things didn't didn't work out their way. Maybe their idea wasn't embraced because an alpha had a better idea, and the alpha keeps having better ideas. And that's the thing with alpha females. And I noticed that alpha females, if they're in that circle of a bunch of females, their ideas are going to shine in more than one way. And typically their ideas are embraced a lot more just because of the confidence and the delivery of the ideas. And the beta females always tend to feel a bit slighted, like my ideas aren't embraced, the same way as hers. But could it be that just the sheer confidence and articulation of the idea is what's getting that alpha female all of the bites and the beta none?
Oh yeah, it's definitely, her projection of said idea, how she's saying it, and like even just in a meeting, at work, if dudes or whoever is trying to like mansplain, like an alpha will shut that shit down. I've done it before. Like, we're not doing that here. I will get real quick. Like, or if you're trying to take an idea that I had and just regurgitate it, I will straight up call you out in the meeting and be like, I just said that 5 minutes ago. What's the difference now? And that betas don't do that. Betas don't have the confidence to do that. And
no.
It's where
Betas take a lot. Betas take a lot. And I noticed that even in the workplace, like I said, when you're in that circle, betas will allow an alpha to possibly run their idea without saying, even if you got that bad alpha who just do stuff like that, she'll run over a beta's idea all day. The beta be like, oh my God, I can trust you, because betas like to trust people too, comfortable people they're around. But she might be telling the alpha all of her business, and the alpha just taking notes. And she's quicker on the draw to go and execute, because the beta's going to be indecisive about even executing, because she can be like, I'm thinking, about this idea. I'm thinking about it. The alpha's like, I'm about to run on your idea.
Right.
I don't need to think about it. You thought about it for me.
Right.
Not right. But it happens in the workplace all the time where she stole my idea. That was my idea. It was like, you put it out there in the galaxy, but you didn't move on it. The alpha saw you wasn't moving on it, and she moved on it and sealed the deal.
It's so true. Even it's like from an animalistic standpoint, if two women, a beta and an alpha female, see a man, a highly attractive man that they are both into, that alpha she's going to get him, because she's going to be the one to make it known that, I want you. I know you want me. So let's make that happen. When the beta's sitting there like, and she could even be prettier, but the alpha had the confidence.
Yep. That is so true. That is so true. And I've seen that happen. I'm like, wait, like, he chose her. But then when you look at the personality, she had the snappier grit. I'm not holding anything back. And I think that's where the relationships are. When you're in a relationship with either alpha or beta female, I have a lot of guy friends, so I'm constantly playing Dr. Angie Phil with them. And, they're always telling me about their problems with their chicks and stuff. And it's like, you're a beta and you're dating this alpha. You know what I mean? I have a lot of beta male friends, and they are, and it's so weird because my beta male friends, they're all attracted to alpha females. Well, alpha females are like the wrong type of females for a beta male, because you're literally striving after the wind.
Can we give preach?
They are. You're striving after the wind. If you're a beta male trying to be with an alpha female, you are striving after the wind.
Don't do it. And I've done this. I've thought I was, again, fake alpha, right? You think you're with a dude that's an alpha when that's not really the case, because an alpha will never feel emasculated by another alpha female, but betas will always feel emasculated by an alpha female. And that's how
you girl, preach it. Beta males can't, like, they need to stay away from alpha females, because if you have any like sensitivity to your masculinity, stay away from alpha females, because the minute you start putting on that feminism thing that's popular with some of these dudes, alpha female don't like feminine men. I'm an alpha female. I'll tell you right now, I do not like feminine men. Same. I don't like feminine men. I like masculine men. right?
Yeah.
I need an alpha male. Like I realized that about myself, like why a lot of my relationships didn't really resonate with me like I wanted them to. It's because I was dating the wrong personality type. I was dating beta men. Thank you, Ghost, for tuning in. But I was dating alpha men. I'm sorry, I was dating beta men. And it was one of those things where I was the emotionally intelligent one. They were the emotionally sensitive one. And so when there was be disagreements, it just like, why are you, acting like a girl? It's like that's basically how you're handling it. But alpha males, they deal with relationships the same way as alpha females. And I think that's where those two make sense. I don't think, and it's weird because I think that alpha males, even with alpha males, I think that they could be better aligned with a beta female than a beta male could be aligned with an alpha male or alpha female.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's probably an easier dynamic.
It's an easier dynamic.
Because like the whole these beta men are very easily emasculated, whereas on the flip side of that relationship, that's not as big of a, like, females aren't really tripping about that.
How do you think that dynamic, because in a workplace, I always think about this, like there's a lot of beta men in position of power. A lot of beta men in position of power. I don't know how they got it. Great to be a guy sometimes, I guess. I don't know. But how did you get in a position of power? I've had beta male managers that I knew I could run all over. I knew I could run all over them. Like, not run all over them, like literally, but like I could probably get almost anything I wanted from them. Almost anything. Because like they just didn't have that idea of, like, they never wanted to disappoint their employees, right? And see, I like a boss. I like my manager to be cool, but I don't want him to be weak. I want him to be about the numbers and the bottom lines and the accountability. You know what I mean? Because I think that people need to have respect for whoever is their leader, right? So if my manager is my leader, I want to have respect for you. I don't want to see my manager being ran over by a whole bunch of people because he's a beta male.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of beta males in the office. So how do you think beta male managers can deal with alpha females?
So, I mean, they just like you said, they let us run over them because that's just what happens. And I think that they're okay with that. And usually
they know we're going to do the job. Do you think they're okay with it because they know that they have confidence in our ability to get stuff done?
We're going to make them look good, so we get away with more, maybe. I've had a situation like this where I've been with a beta, or my boss was a beta, and I could, in my younger days, be reckless at the mouth trying to get stuff done, and he would just like take it. And I thinking back then, I'm like, if I would have had little me back then, I'd been like, who are you talking to? So, like,
right.
But beta males will just kind of let it go. But like you said, that other trait that betas have in general is that they can be manipulative. That's their negative trait. And so they might, be adding all this stuff up about what they don't like about you and then eventually use that against you. So it's really dependent on what can you do for them.
And see, that's the thing about beta females that you have to watch out for in the workplace. They catalog everything. They looking for reasons to snitch, right? Remember we talked about it? Like, you got, the snitch on you, right? And the bitch on you, right? The beta female gonna snitch on you. The alpha female is probably gonna bitch on you. You know what I mean? But then again, you said it's the thinking versus the feelings, right? Snitching is a feeling mentality, right? You think about it, but it's really you doing it out of spite.
Yeah, it's a feeling. You feel petty, so you're gonna do that type of snitchy stuff. Whereas alpha is just going to be a bitch in the sense that she's going to call you right then and there, and it might not sound good, but she's going to do it.
So, when you talk about the easily hurt too, right? One of the things that I find is that, people like to tattletale and like, oh, she made me feel intimidated, right? Like, or hostile. People are really quick to use these terms in the workplace, right? But I wonder sometimes, is it the beta female not being able to take the straightforward reactions of alpha females that make them feel like they're somehow put in this hostile situation?
Yeah,
like because we're more dogmatic about how we approach a conversation, and they're more, safe, if you will.
To touch back on your takeaways for people to have today, is like what we can do is be more empathetic as alphas to betas, have empathy towards each other, that, we have ways we go about things. But so if an alpha is being very straightforward with you and candid, like, you as a beta need to understand that this might not be personal. You got to use your emotional intelligence to be like, this is just how this person is. It's not personal. Like, they're going to talk to me like that. They're going to talk to him, her, whoever like that. It ain't personal.
Yes.
And that's where they need to have that step back. Whereas on the flip side of things, we know as alphas, sometimes we can be better at, phrasing things or being direct without being so abrasive. Because that's definitely a thing. Is that we are abrasive comparatively. It's our negative trait. I can't tell you how many times I've been told that I'm abrasive. And I'm like, and I don't feel it because I have self-awareness. And I'm like, I have seen people who have no chill. And I feel like I'm a very black and white type of person. Like, I'm gonna give it to you how I see it, but I don't think I'm extra about it, but maybe I'm wrong.
But that's, but I think, because I've gotten that. I thought you were a bitch. And then when I got to know you, you're just this person about your business and your focus. And so I think that we tend to judge each other. And I think that's important too, as a takeaway, is when women see each other on site, we walk into a new work situation or whatever. And I've had this before too. And I often wonder, like, why do women do this? And it wasn't until I kind of started exploring these personalities, these characteristics, that I started to kind of understand where it was coming from, that this is a beta female personality that is allowing her feelings to not only not get to know me, but make assumptions about me based off of her sheer observation and nothing else, right? So, you see it all the time where an alpha female will walk into the workplace confident, doing her thing, minding her business, doing her business or whatnot. She may, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Keep it moving, because I got things to do and I ain't got time to jaw jack with you, right? I find that the alpha females in the workplace, they on the move. They constantly on the move doing something. The beta females do that too, but they're definitely at the coffee station, wrapping it up and talking about their feelings with somebody that happened over the weekend. They're finding, they're the ones that be finding the organizational therapists, the people that they can talk about all their problems with. I find them to be that. So, so in terms of understanding each other's characters more, and we touched on this, and learn how to better approach each other, one of the things, understanding that I am an alpha female, right? Like you said, it helps me to be more conscious of how I interact or even perceive other females' reactions to me. You know what I mean? Whether they feel like, whether their reaction is like sizing me up for no reason, or just not liking me, or having this intimidation about me that I did not foster within them. Now I kind of, for me, I understand where that place is coming from now. That this woman may have some insecurities about herself and me that she doesn't know how to articulate. So she's allowing her feelings to dictate the type of relationship that we can have. And I think also, because I think alpha and beta females can get along. I think that they're a great balance for each other in a friendship group.
Oh yeah, it's like if we can just be self-aware, have the ability to just be empathetic towards each other's personality traits. Once we understand both sides of the spectrum, we can understand how to work together better, especially at work. Because like I've had beta females that I've worked with that I loved, and I feel like I think that they love me too, for lack of better terms. And we vibed with each other because they were cool with me having that place of being the one that's going to be the one to make the move. Like, but I'm going to give credit where it's due, like I might be the one at the table spouting out this is what we're going to do or need to do. And that came from her. Like, I have no problem doing that, but I'm going to be the one to do it because she ain't, and she's cool with that. Like, so it's like knowing your place. Like, and it's not like I'm the only one with the skill here. Like, as long as I am aware that homegirl might have the brains, they're usually more, they were saying intellectual when you were reading the description, they may be better at that. And alphas know good ones. I feel like like CEOs, like I was saying before, like CEOs are usually alphas because they know who to hire because they know what they're not good at. So they're going to hire the people that are going to make them still get to that goal, which is why I said that thing about, betas can be even better leaders than alphas sometimes. It's just that we have to know the dynamic for certain roles, and everyone can be great. You can have a great team, but I think it really has to do with like there can be a toxic version of each beta and alpha. So it's like we got to be the better of what we are.
And it's so funny because as we were preparing to have this conversation last week, I caught this, like, it was some viral conversation about Candace Owens. She's a conservative commentator, and Nicole Arbour, who is this Canadian comedian.
Right.
And, Candace Owens had Nicole Arbour on her show, right? Yes, she did. She had Nicole Arbour on her show to talk about Chrissy Teigen being canceled from the mainstream. And Nicole Arbour, I guess, had tweeted a series of just nasty tweets about conservatives who are okay with using cancel culture against cancel culture, because Candace Owens called for the cancellation of Chrissy Teigen and sponsors and stuff. And so Nicole Arbour was making a point that it's, she said some pretty profane things, but it's kind of a bad thing to use one method against the other, right? So I know Candace Owens is an alpha female. She's an alpha female, right? So, but I didn't know too much about Nicole Arbour, but she seemed like she was an alpha female the way that she big talking, but she was that fake alpha that you were talking about, where she big talk, but then when she get into the table, she turns into mush.
But she started redacting everything that she was saying.
So no, what happened is Candace Owens basically chewed her out about the stuff that she said on her Instagram about, and she was sprinkling in some of that, as Kwame Brown would say, mama's cooking. She was cooking Candace on Instagram, and Candace felt sizzled, right? So Candace brought this girl onto her show, right? Now I'm looking at this show, right? And again, Candace is an alpha. Nicole is she's a fake alpha, in my opinion, because when she got on there, she's like, she kind of melted down. She fell back like, no, I was just joking. And she fell back from a lot of stuff that she was saying. I'm like, that's a beta.
That's a beta. To caveat to that, there is definitely something about female alphas that when we come to a table, you're going to know in the physiology of how we are at the table. I'm sitting at this table, and like the way we just our posture, how we direct our look and our just everything.
Body language, everything. You're dealing with an alpha at the table.
If you start doing this,
I
was just joking. That's not alpha shit. Like, own your shit.
But she was doing big alpha talk on Instagram about the girl.
Well, of course, with just behind the camera. But like you said, It gets real.
You know, it's so funny though, because Candace, like at the end of the day, what really made me upset about Candace and what really made me bring this up is that Candace is an alpha female, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she constantly goes after beta females.
It's like go after an alpha, see what happens.
Right. Like Cardi B. Cardi B at the end of the day is a beta female. She can't do nothing with Candace Owens. Come on now. That's not even a fair fight. That's why, you know, it's funny because when they had the Grammys, you know, that big old thing about Cardi B's Grammy performance, and they were just all over the girl about what she was doing, right? I'm like, but Megan Thee Stallion was right there too. But Megan Thee Stallion is an alpha female. Candace didn't say not one thing about Megan Thee Stallion. Not one thing. And she wasn't going to say nothing about Megan Thee Stallion. You know why? Because alphas, they size up the other alpha.
They know.
But alphas will go in on betas all day long.
That's true.
If they're a bullying type of alpha, if they're that dogmatic type of alpha, because again, each one of these personality traits have their positives and their negatives. So if you're a dogmatic alpha like Candace Owens, you're not bringing this girl onto your show to understand and talk about her opinions of you in an Instagram post.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're bringing this girl onto your show to chew her ass out in front of your whole entire audience so that she understands her place as a beta.
Right.
Don't put your mouth on alpha things ever again. And Nicole Arbour, actually, she walked out the show. She walked off.
Really?
She got chewed out so bad by this alpha female that she walked off the show.
Dang! Wow, where have I been? I'm sleeping under a rock.
Girl, you know, it's so funny because I just caught that like what was it, last week, and I was just, and I literally like, let me just see this show just to see, right? Mm-hmm. So I watched the whole thing, and because what happened is like Candace Owens kept explaining. She did like all these little separate videos explaining the show, and I'm just like, well, what happened on the show that you just explaining? You can't explain it. I'm like, so I go and I look at the show, and the topic was about basically cyberbullying. It was a great topic.
Oh,
they
yeah.
Could have stayed there.
I did hear about the Chrissy Teigen stuff. I mean, that was pretty terrible. Like, how are you going to sit there and be a leftist, whatever, and on one hand, and then do what you tweet on the other, telling people to go kill themselves and stuff? Like, make up your mind.
Most people on Twitter are beta people. Those are beta. Twitter is beta land.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Twitter is beta people land. They are. I mean, what are our traits of you know, they're introverts. A lot of these people, they talk crap behind their computer screen, right? They're not very comfortable, familiar. You know, they try to be problem solvers. Everybody else's problem except for their own. Like, to me, the whole Twitter space is just comprised of a bunch of betas. If you're ever trying to date somebody and you don't want a beta personality, don't meet nobody on Twitter for the most part. For the most part. Not everybody on there, but for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, but again, you know, going back to some of the takeaways, and you mentioned it too, is self-awareness. Number one, understanding what your personality trait is, right? You know you're an alpha. You understand exactly why you're an alpha. You can identify another alpha, no problem, right? I know I'm an alpha, right? And I know another alpha female when I see another alpha female, right? But people, whether you're a man or woman, because I think this conversation is 360 to everybody, understand what your personality trait is first. So am I a beta manager dealing with an alpha female, right? I'm an alpha manager dealing with a beta female, right? Understand those personality types so that you understand how to interact with those individuals, and then how even your own personality type impacts those individuals. So like Brittany was saying, you know, when you're alpha and you're dealing with a beta, you know, you have a lot more understanding if these individuals know what they're dealing with. You know what I mean? You get along with your friend in your circle group that's a beta because she understands you guys offset each other. and you guys have accepted each other's personality traits and you know how to work around those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the last point that we talked about in terms of our takeaway is like just our approach, right? So now that we know that you're an alpha and you're a beta, now we know how we can deal with each other a little bit better. This person is a lot more, this person has a beta personality. So I'm going to have to deal with that person a little bit more delicately than I may have to deal with somebody who's an alpha personality who may scare the shit out of me if I'm a beta manager or a beta boyfriend or beta girlfriend or whoever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that it's all about self-awareness, who you are, being aware of the individuals that you're interacting with. And I think that's how you can, I think, successfully use these, understand these personality traits to better interact with other people. So we're coming up on about an hour here. Brittany, do you have anything else that you want to add to this discussion? You know, I think just exploring the personality traits was awesome. And just giving the examples of the traits and just kind of breaking them down so that people understand them. I think we do you feel like we help people?
I think so. I mean, I hope so. I feel like we definitely hit points on both. We weren't trying to bash one or the other. Like there's pros and cons to everyone. It's just like if you're into astrology, there's pros and cons to everyone, every sign, you know, whether you believe in that stuff or not, or any type of personality traits, the MBTI stuff, you know, there's pros and cons to everyone. And then there's people who are not leveled up from whatever they are. You can be better at whatever you are. So these having these conversations really just, it's like helps you be emotionally intelligent enough to have that self-awareness, and then also the emotional intelligence to see other people for what they are and how you can deal with that. You know, we talk.
Next time that chick size you up, she doesn't hate you. She just she admires you.
Yeah, there could be absolutely, and like we can just have that respect for each other. Like there's stuff about, you know, a beta that I appreciate, and we can have that for each other. You know, we talked offline a while ago. I was comparing it like for just women in general, especially in the workplace. You know, try to think of this, y'all listening, like drunk girls in bathrooms. You know, we're so nice to each other. You know, like you're so cute, you're so this, you're so that. You don't even know these people. And as a society, you know, women have tended to be at each other's throats instead of hyping each other up. And the more that we're growing as women in society, that true equality, like just being where we should be, that we got to do. You got to fix home first. We got so we got to build and be better for each other. And we're not going to get any further unless we fix within first. So,
and it has to be organic too, because I like me when my female interactions, it's like I don't believe in gassing anybody up, right? I don't gas anybody up that don't need to be gassed up. You know what I mean? So you know, I think, you know, if we start approaching people organically too, it's like, you know, I can, like you said, I can appreciate aspects about betas because to me they're the ones that's Johnny on the spot most of the times. They're the ones that like, oh, it needs to be done. You have to get it done. Like, you know, alphas, we'll try our best to get somebody else to do that for us.
Delegation, we're good at that.
We'll find that beta. Like, come on, beta, come and do this for us. Like, the beta's like, I'm gonna spend all night doing this, and alpha's like, I ain't got time. I got more money to make over here. I need somebody to do it over here. But I mean, the characteristics are very interesting to explore, and again, understanding who you are will definitely help you to understand how to interact with individuals in the workplace, specifically female on female interactions. Some of us aren't jealous of each other. Some of us don't hate each other. Some of us are just alpha and beta females that need to learn how to understand each other.
Yes.
So thank you so much for tuning in to this discussion. We hope that you found something valuable, learned something new about yourself, and even somebody else around you and how to deal with them. Coming up, I would say in about 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about the, I hope I say this right, MGTOW movement, Men Go Their Own Way movement. I just learned about this movement. And I find it to be a very interesting movement because men are it's an anti-feminist men movement where they are deciding to just be single forever because they're tired of the expectations of the feminist societal expectations. So I met a guy who is a part of this movement and he's adamant about it. So I want to talk to this guy and I'm going to have my friend Chris help me with it, talk about that because I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
We got a whole bunch of guys making this decision. How does that play into society?
A lot.
I mean, does that, like, if we got a whole bunch of dudes saying, you know what, forget it, I don't want none of it. I'm going my own way.
That's why all these feminists are super upset that dolls are becoming more of a thing because these guys, this MGTOW whatever movement, like they just want to stay single, which means that procreation won't happen unless in a petri dish, and this is going to affect society. So again, feminism ruining everything 101.
Oh, the feminists, they can kick rocks. They can kick rocks all day. The thing is, those are the type, and those are beta females.
Beta, yes.
They are beta. Feminists are beta females. And I tell guys all the time, I'm a beta feminist. That's the worst type of beta you could date is a feminist. Because she's gonna be a beta and a fake alpha all at the same time.
Yeah, the feminists are never, and I will put that on my life. Feminists are not alphas. Feminists are those fake alphas. 100%.
They are not alphas at all. They're the fake alphas. They're the ones that will boss their man around and tell him that he ain't nothing. All the while she's in the bathroom crying, trying to figure herself out.
Right. Alpha females do not emasculate their men.
No. That's because alpha females don't like non-masculine men. We want our men as macho and manly. Like, we want a leader that we can respect. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Beta females look for men that almost they can be their mother.
That they can dominate.
They look for men like, and I see it all the time. Like, because of my beta male friends, the alpha females that they've dated, these chicks are like their mothers. You're not gonna do that. You're not going to do that. Like, I told you not to do that. Like, these beta females, it's like, that's their control, like, it's this, like, feminists. I tell my boys all the time, like, stay away from feminist women.
Yes.
Those are like hyper betas.
Oh,
they are hyper betas.
Hyper betas. Yeah. Some chick on LinkedIn was like, psst, you're a feminist. No, because I was trying to be like, I'm anti-feminist. Like, I'm letting you know that right now. And because she feels like I'm an alpha, and because I still am like, I can be this in society, she's like, well, you're a feminist. No, I'm not. Do not get this twisted, lady.
No, and it's like, to me, I feel like I don't even know, the whole feminist term to me, it's almost like there's layers to it. You know what I mean? It's almost layers to it, where you do have your alpha feminists and you have your beta feminists. The alpha feminists tend to be a little bit more like hardcore, almost like taking on the role of men. Whereas your beta feminists, they're all like the mothers of the men that, that she has to tell him what to do.
Like, something to that. If you ever want to talk about that, we can definitely rap about that, because I'm all about putting some feminists in their place.
But that's what I'm thinking, though, because I just feel like, you have your more masculine feminists that tend to be the alphas, and then you have the beta feminists that are like the crybabies.
Yeah, there's something to that.
Yeah, I'm going to explore that a little bit more, too, because it sounds a little bit logical. But thank you so much, Brittany. We're about to get off of here. We're just about an hour. Thanks for tuning in. We had a couple of people peek in, so thank you. Most people catch this on a replay, so it will be reposted on LinkedIn, and it will also be posted on YouTube in the Thought Corner. And if you have not joined the Thought Corner, please do so. www.thethoughtcorner.com. We're bringing out all kinds of perspective blogs and videos that get you to just do the thing that God gave you to do, which is, or gifted you to do, which is use your brain and think. Critical thinking is definitely what we foster on the Thought Corner. So thank you again, Brittany, and everyone. I'll catch you on the next show. Bye.